We're finally here at the final round of the 2022 PDGA Tim Selinske U.S. Masters Disc Golf Championships from the Quad Cities area of Iowa and Illinois. A rainy Sunday greeted not a final foursome. Actually, it was a final fivesome that made the cut. So this lead card, just 3 players. You can see the leaders right there. Jennifer, you're amongst the leaders and in the hunt for a podium. However, you are on the other card, correct?
Correct. This was kind of a strange thing to us. We really either kind of all wanted to play together as a fivesome, or we're hoping that maybe they would have made the cut at 6 because it was very close. So we're going to get started here. Hole number 1. This is 325 feet. It's a par 3, again, over this ravine. Nice straight shot that's going to land flat up across the crest there where we find the basket.
Yeah, one of the flatter greens here on the course, as we've said all along in this coverage, but that doesn't mean that it's flat. It just looks flat by comparison. And Owen Scoggins will be first to tee, carrying a 5-stroke lead into this final round in the rain.
Yeah, and that's kind of can be treacherous. We have trees, we have rain. 5 strokes can go away really quickly. So let's stay tuned and see what happens.
Sarah Hokom got to within, I believe, was it 2 strokes in the third round at one point, Jennifer?
Yeah, 2 or 3. Could have been 2 for sure. I think she missed 1 birdie putt. But like I said, I think anything could happen right here. These tee pads are pretty good, but the hills really make it kind of dangerous with all of that rain and mud.
Yeah, other than the tee pad, not very many level stances anywhere on the course. Kimberly, Giannola vying for a podium finish here.
That's a little wide. Hopefully she doesn't get too bad of a kick.
Goes way over there to the right. Didn't see too many players over there. At least I didn't during the course of the week.
I did get a kick in practice. As long as you don't go all the way down to the ravine, if you actually hit and stay short, it's not too bad. But just like every hole out here, the rough is rough. You really want to stay on the fairways. And
Indeed.
This one is no different. I mean, it is really bad down there.
Yeah, this Kimberly's third already.
I can't even see her.
Nope. Bigfoot.
Oh, there she comes out. Okay.
Actually, that's pretty great from where that was.
That's a fantastic shot.
If I haven't officially introduced us, it's Grant Zellner from the PDGA and Jennifer Allen, touring pro, here on the commentary.
And on the chase card here today. So
well, not me, but you, yeah.
Yeah, it was very interesting to play in a twosome for a final round, that's for sure. Good out by Own. She's just trying to tap in the pars. I think pars today are going to be a fantastic score, especially for this front 9. Ooh, good,
no doubt about
good
it.
bid from Sarah. She's wanting to win her first major in the FP40 division. Beautiful putt to save the double bogey. Very rough start for Kim getting off the fairway clean, but great putt to save that.
Yeah, double bogey's probably not going to kill you today, at least as long as you don't make a habit of it. Jennifer, I was told ahead of time by some locals that this course actually drained surprisingly well and didn't even carry a lot of water down in the creeks. Was that your experience, that it was, even though it was wet, as it normal, it actually drained okay?
Yeah, it absolutely did. And if I remember correctly, we had a lot of rain. Like it had started raining like the previous day, I think. And so we did kind of anticipate those dry creeks to be wet, and they weren't. They were just very muddy.
Hole number 2, a 225-foot par 3 up and over this little formation, this little artistic man-made obstacle. And if you clear that obstacle with any real height, as long as you don't have too much speed on it, you should be pretty well set up for a putt. You can also go around the right side. There's a hyzer line over there. We may see both.
Yeah, Owen went with this destroyer hyzer route all week long. That was something that she practiced, and unless it's not successful, she sticks to her plan almost on every hole. That one, unfortunately, a little wide. But middle kick, she should be able to save par from there. It's a relatively short hole, so as long as you progress up the fairway somewhat, par should be okay.
Sarah with a slower disc right up the gut.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I believe she went with more of a faster fairway previously in the week because she was going long down that hill. She still goes a little bit long, but is going to be really close to the short grass. Kim, beautiful hyzer route. Let's see if it doesn't get too much skip. Oh, it doesn't. It gets a little caught up.
Yeah, that disc looked to be even slower than the one Sarah threw. Maybe a putter off the tee. Oh. Good little up for Owen. Jennifer, you've been pointing out all week that on these greens that are not flat, even the ones that look flat, hitting any metal and dropping, you're almost always at a risk for a rollaway.
Absolutely. You have to commit on this course on every single hole, whether that be for a rollaway or going just off a big hill or incline. So if those uphill putts, you just really can't hit them low. Sarah lucky, hers sticking close by, Owen just a little bit further out. And this is going to slow down the play a little bit. It's never fun playing in the rain, especially when there's a major on the line. So you want to really make sure those discs are dry, your hands are dry. So much extra to carry around. I believe most of these women had caddies all week, so that is very helpful.
Jennifer, I've known only one player that has said to me convincingly that they like playing in the rain, and they've said it to me more than once. I'm not sure if you'd be able to guess who they are, but when I tell you who it is, you'll be like, of course, it's Kat Murch.
I wonder why.
I don't know, but she's told me more than once how much she likes to play in the rain.
She probably just likes jumping in puddles. That seems like Kat.
Thanks to Ace Run Pro, the disc golf guy, all of the camera operators and producers of this footage from the Tim Selinske U.S. Masters. You can become a Patreon and support Ace Run.
Hole number 3, this is 363 feet, par 3. Pick your gap between those 3 trees, a fading shot that's going to turn right, and either turn right with the forehand and stay close to the middle, or backhand or more stable disc that can finish left will find yourself by the basket. We've also clarified this week that having a forehand in the woods is definitely helpful, and all 3 of these women throw a lot of forehands.
Indeed.
And especially, I think, in the rain, too, you don't have to worry about as much of a run-up or slipping. So, going to be a lot of forehands out here. All the women really taking their time. That didn't come back quite like Sarah wanted to, I don't think.
Yeah, sort of went over and stayed over. Hopefully not too deep in that rough up the left-hand side.
You can actually, if you punch through and have the distance, you can go into the adjacent parallel fairway, and it's actually a pretty decent lie.
Yeah, that's hole number 3's fairway, and it actually plays in the same direction. You sort of have to walk backwards from... Excuse me, that's hole 4's. That's right.
No, it's actually hole 17, I believe.
Oh, you're right. I'm confusing this with another place on the course where you have to walk back against yourself. We'll point that out later. But yeah, fundamentally, it's the same situation. These adjacent fairways, really interesting situation.
Yeah, but, you know, for the most part, you don't really see a lot of other players out there. There's so many trees that even though a lot of these holes are really close to each other, for the most part, you kind of stay clear of other golfers, which is nice.
I didn't hear too many screaming 4 during the course of the week, thankfully. Everybody just trying to make their way up to around the basket here.
Yeah, Owen gets a little bit of a roll, but looks like she's going to be right on circle's edge. You're going to see a lot of pitch outs and punching out, kind of like Kim showing us there. Not having to go far, though. She does a great job. We've also had mentioned that these are pretty decent catching baskets, some pretty heavy chains. Sometimes, you know, depending on the heaviness of the chain, the wetness and the rain can kind of change up some of the spits and how they bounce off those chains or not. So hopefully no spits today or cut throughs with wet chains.
I don't know that Sarah used the chains on that one. She hit the very top and then dropped straight down into the basket.
Kind of like a slid, like a little vending machine or something.
Yeah. Owen in for the par.
Yeah, and this is a good par 3. I'm sure we had just a few birdies this week, but not a hole that you really felt like you had to get the birdie on at all.
Right.
A nice clean drive, good upshot, getting a 3. It's pretty much a successful hole.
So through 3 holes thus far, not a single birdie amongst this group, not a single birdie in the field of 5 playing this final round through 3 holes. And I know it's not going to happen on the next hole either. The 4th is looming.
Oh, come on.
Here is the 4th, a 500-foot par 3, excuse me. Want to say 4, probably could be a 4. It's a 3. You're flying right now over the ravine to the ideal landing zone. A lot of shape, could get a drive to about here, but you've still got this sort of left side fairway to deal with and a steeply sloping green from left to right up here by the basket.
Owen usually just kind of punches hard and hopes to make it through and land straight across the ravine. She actually hits the gap a little bit better than she has all week long, really getting a lot more distance up the fairway. She usually goes outside left, and she cut the inside gap. So makes me curious if she just completely missed it all week and was just really lucky.
Sarah has had excellent drives here at the 4th all week long.
Yeah, and very, very important to get clean off this tee, but it doesn't mean it's a guaranteed par. go through?
Inside and stays on the near side of the ravine, the near side as far as the player's vantage point is. So now Kimberly.
Yeah, you want to be short up top if you do hit. You want to stay up there. But what I was going to say is, getting clean up here where Sarah and Owen are, it doesn't mean guaranteed par. This second shot can be just as tricky as the tee. You can really see the sloping of the fairway here. Look at their feet.
Sarah's got just about as good a look as you can have. She's in there somewhere. Didn't like it out of the hand, but not too bad a finish there. She's inside the circle in that rough.
Landing in the rough actually kind of keeps you there. Otherwise, you've seen a lot of hitting the basket even and rolling to the rough. So
yep.
Sarah might have ended up with the exact same place, even with landing right by the basket.
Kimberly
green,
throwing
very
her
quick.
Fourth.
Ooh, a little early out of her hand. That's okay to land right there on that high side. That's a perfect spot. That is kind of, I think, the frustrating thing when you do get into the branches like that and it's raining. Very difficult to keep the disc dry because anytime you bump those branches, that water falls down. Sarah does an awesome job to hit that putt and save the par.
I think we may have missed one of Owen's shots here on this hole, and that's wouldn't surprise me with the challenges of camera operating in the rain.
Yeah, her drive definitely did not land there.
No. It's a real struggle sometimes with these cameras and these rainy courses. They do a great job of working through all of those difficulties with the batteries and all of that stuff. But we might have missed Owen's second shot, maybe even her third. We'll have to get a look at things here.
I think I saw her Firebird in her hand, so that would make sense that she kind of followed that same shot that Sarah did. Yeah, saving par there, exact same spot almost on every shot from tee to green.
It makes it hard to catch somebody when they're just matching you shot for shot.
Yeah, and mentally that may be what Owen's game plan is, or just the fact to shoot par. Especially the front nine. Front nine, very difficult to get many birdies.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm kind of surprised not to see Kim with a caddy. She's had a caddy all week long. So unfortunately, that will be 2 double bogeys on Kim's front nine. Not the start she wanted. Here we are, hole number 5. This is 550 feet. It is a par 4, your first shot, and you want to get through these trees, either straight through or on the right side, and somewhere near this log for the second shot. Right side of the fairway, much easier to see the basket than the left side. There's an OB line all along the right side of the fairway, right up to just a few feet from the basket. I think the forehand is a great shot off the tee here. Going Firebird, trying to punch through there and land just around that log.
Oh, look at that. Skipping right around the end of it.
Great placement. I think she'd want to be just a hair further to the right. I actually don't even try to get distance off the tee here. I go mid think I might have even done putter once and just really try to land over there where you see the short placement white
that
pole.
little white pole. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found that if we shot to those short placements on the longer holes, it was a great place to approach the longer baskets. Kim trying to get things going here. Stayed out in the open. Let's see if she can stay clean on the second shot. So you don't have to get aggressive. That's a good shot, just trying to get into the middle, get back on some pars.
Sarah really, really going for that one. Knows she needs to make a move.
Yeah, she's played this hole very well all week. That was a little further to the left than where she had been landing. She had been pushing that OB line on the right. Owen gets a beautiful second shot.
Look at that.
Wow. And unfortunately, that wet ground sends that flying past.
She's almost over in that other fairway.
Yeah, that left side up by the basket, there's a few spots that are completely open, and then there's just little clusters of trees. So we'll see if she has an easy putt. Perfectly done. Deep exhale and relief for Kim. She's doing well on this hole. Going to get back on track.
Circle 2 bid for Sarah goes right and long.
Yeah, just a little bit of a roll here.
Oh, wow. Own.
Little bit of stuff in her way, but it's not enough to keep her out of the basket. Own such an incredible putter. Great par save from Kim. I don't know about you, but I always hate playing in a rain jacket, even a really pretty thin one. And I don't know, you get layers because it's kind of chilly usually in the rain. And I just don't feel like my arms move quite as much or easily. And unfortunately, that will be 2 strokes for Own on the 5th.
Oh, Macbeth, what a shot inbounds. That is a smash.
It just seems like he's willing his way to the top. Your 2022 PDGA World Champion, Paul Macbeth.
Here we are at the 6th, the par 3 at 350 feet. This is the hole I was thinking of earlier, Jennifer, how you sort of walk backwards from the 5th basket to the 6th tee and then play a hole that goes generally in the same direction as the hole from before.
Yeah, there's 2 ways to get to the basket. Inside line here that kind of goes straight at it, but really difficult to hit that line off the tee. You'll see most shots go on the left side of the fairway, especially with this group and all their beautiful forehands.
Pretty good gap over there, Own right up the middle of it. Now we'll just see how this disc finishes.
Yeah, that's the harder part to that executing this shot at the left side. If you hit anything high, you can kick down the hill, and having the right angle not to roll when you're coming in on that incline of the fairway.
Similar result there for Kimberly. Could throw a blanket over all three of those discs.
Yeah. I like the angle that Sarah had. I thought I was going to get a little bit better skip, but all these women landing right beside each other. This green was really quicker than you imagine. You saw how Sarah's rolled right behind that tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's putting her about 18 feet away. Kim's doing the exact same thing. I found that a lot during practice, so I really started aiming to the right and a little bit shorter if I didn't have a good bid. But if you're incredible like Owen, you just throw it in and you don't have to worry about the rollaways.
Wow.
Yeah. No one puts in the work like Owen on putting. Even when she is that good, it's because she putts for at least an hour a day.
And she gets a lot of putts in the air in that hour. I've seen her warm up before. She's got a stack of about 7 putters.
Yeah, usually 5.
Usually 5. At Portland,
Yeah.
she had 7, I think it was. And she could get all 7 from her hand into the basket in about, 12 seconds. I mean, it's just boom, 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 boom. And then she goes and picks them up and does it again.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're so old and just
I know.
beat up looking putter AVRs too.
All of them.
Yeah, bent in. I think that's why they have so much wobble. They're just almost looking broken at this point.
I wonder what's the furthest she would ever throw one of those. Like if you'd ever see her throw one off the tee.
She throws putters. Yeah, no, I don't think
she
so.
does. Be interesting to ask her how far one of those flew at its furthest ever. Maybe she'd have a funny answer. Knowing Owen, she'd have a funny answer, no doubt about it. And we're through the 6th here at Camden 2.
Hole number 7, this is 250 feet across that ravine and steeply up the hill. I always considered this the goalpost hole. You want to get your straight flying shot right between those 2 dead trees and over the dead logs. We refine the basket on the edge of the hill. Beautiful forehand or hyzer hole as well that will keep the distance closer to the basket.
Interesting camera angle here, looking from above the player and then looking up the hill, Owen, as she's done before.
Yeah, she has been dead on this hole. That's her yellow destroyer. I'll get it out there. Tried to combine those words. But she has thrown this hole just perfectly with the distance every round. Kim as well. And I think even Sarah. I would love to see the stats. I don't think either or any of the 3 of these women really missed the hole this week. I jinx. I'll call
her.
Sarah right now. Even though this was over a month ago, I will take full blame for that late kick. And unfortunately, you get a kick on these trees, and usually you'll go down the hill quite a bit. Sarah, I think, lucky kind of to stay close. I even saw some horrible rollaways this week. Little right side keeps it in the basket. So that's going to be another stroke that Owen picks up. Knowing Owen, she is not taking a deep breath of feeling relaxed with her lead just yet. She fights to the very end. She wants every single hole. And that's why she plays so well. Definitely see in some tournaments when a player has a good, strong lead that they kind of just try to remain that lead. And I think they can easily lose it and sometimes get beaten, just trying to play safe. It's better off usually to go with that, keep your same game plan of being aggressive, getting the holes that you want to get. And keep that lead.
The 8th is a 500-foot par 3. Flat by comparison to some of the other holes we've seen here at Camden 2. Sort of a side hill rolling fairway here with some openings at the beginning, and then things get really tight here. And then as we approach the basket, you've got a couple of narrow alleyways to choose from. It sort of depends on where your tee shot lands.
Yeah, I found that the right side plays it a little bit more open. Definitely just a bunch of scattered trees and sticks up there by the basket. You again see that short placement and, ooh, good roll maybe. Stop. I bet she'll be able to punch out from there. But again, a lot of our shots kind of wanting to land near that short placement. Kim lets that go just a hair too late. Hopefully it punches out close to the edge of the fairway there.
Yeah, it stopped pretty dead there, but it might have stopped in an okay spot. She'll have a little bit of a challenge, I think, getting all the way to the basket, though.
Definitely. Not too often we see a couple of MVP teammates on the same card.
That's true.
Owen probably felt a little outnumbered there.
Sarah trying to get some good shape on that disc. We'll see how it finished up there on the left side. As you said, Jennifer, the left side a lot tighter.
So Kim didn't stay on the edge. That's going to make very difficult par save from that point. She's just going to try to get up there as far as possible and stay on the flat open surface.
Now Sarah trying to thread the needle here.
If anyone can flex and bend a shot, it's Sarah Hokom.
That is a A+ effort right there. That was fantastic.
So Kim has a good spot, but this is still a very difficult shot. I felt like the hyzer route was the best way in, and she punches through and lands nice and close to the basket. Owen finding that gap on the right side of the fairway. Unfortunately, gets a little bit of a roll, but that distance is never a problem for Owen. Try not to jinx anyone. Again. Ah! I didn't say anything about that spot.
No, you didn't. Not a word.
Kim is just having a very unfortunate front nine. This is the hardest 9 on the course, though, so hopefully she can start gathering some birdies on the backside.
I'll say this as well, looking over the overall stats right now, scoring average up on almost every hole so far.
Yeah, Owen having a string of birdies right now, but that's definitely, I don't think, what's happening for everybody else.
No, I don't think it is.
I don't quite remember what Jenny and I were doing on Chase Card, but we definitely, I feel like we're trying to go for pars.
Yeah, six of the opening 9 holes here didn't give up a single birdie.
He's way out of position. Like,
he's gonna have to force it, though.
I don't think he can.
Think it's even possible?
It's in the impossible range.
The way Worlds ended last year, you couldn't have wrote that in a book.
After the initial reaction, I had to process.
If you don't even think it's a sport, watching this moment has to get you pumped up.
He's going to need the shot of the century.
I could sense something was about to happen.
Okay, hole number 9. This is 250 feet. You want something that flies nice and slow, straight, and lands somewhere up towards the top of the hill. You really don't want to try to pass this basket at all, because you will very quickly end up with a 40 to 50 foot putt back up the steep hill to the basket. So landing somewhere right about here, and then deciding from there if you really want to go for that death putt or not. Owen lets that go a little low, should get a little skip, not too much, but lands right in the middle. That should be easy to save par.
Thought that would flare a little more on the wet grass, but it really dug in.
Yes, and that doesn't really shock me though either. I mean, so much rain, a lot of mud out here.
That one
got
off
hung
the tree
up.
and then way off to the right.
Yeah, I was really hoping that would hyzer back out towards the middle, as did Sarah, I'm sure. That left side is very, very rough. Kim going to go over there and join Sarah. A little bit shorter, though. We'll see if they are able to save par from those places.
I think that was maybe Sarah coming out from the right, player's right, that is, up toward the basket.
Kim was, I thought, a little shorter, but maybe not. I'm telling you, this is the rough of the rough. Yeah, wow. Rough of the rough. I'm not lying. Like, I'm so glad. I mean, unfortunate for them, but I'm glad that we were finally showing why there's sometimes birdies on these really short holes. Mm-hmm. And then there could be a 6 or a 7 really easily, because one bad kick and you're lucky to get back onto the fairway. This is the string of the shorter holes, but we don't always see the birdies that we'd like to on them. Ooh, good bid. Kind of, maybe she felt like she really had to try to get a stroke back. That's a risky putt over the hill.
Sarah for par, I believe, off the front of the cage, but I'm sure it's settled. We'll find out. Meanwhile, Owen taps in a par. Now Kimberly stepping into the frame.
Yeah, and that must have rolled, because I thought she was on the left side of the basket. So she's lucky if that rolled, that it stayed that high up the hill. So that unfortunately is another double bogey for Kim on the front 9. That makes 4. Sarah tapping in her bogey. And we have 9 more holes before another major is crowned to one of these women.
And Scoggins opening up a big 10-stroke lead now on her closest card mate. We'll get a look at the overall leaderboard here. See that things are really tight for that podium finish.
Yeah, again, not a ton of birdies to be had, but unfortunately Kim is bringing Jenny and I into the picture for sure.
The back 9 a little bit more scoreable, and we will have that back 9 of this final round in the FP40 division at the 2022 Tim Selinske U.S. Masters Disc Golf Championships. It'll be right back here on the PDGA channel here on YouTube. Thanks for joining us.